Good morning, students. I am Dr. Mamta Gaur from School of Business. I will be taking up this session on Mintzberg's managerial roles approach. Now, before I begin with the session and the topic, I would like to first introduce you a context. Suppose you are working in a corporate and one of your best employees who was just promoted to a managerial position and you invited him to lunch to celebrate and to see what was on his mind and about his new position. So, waiting for your food to arrive, you asked him if he had any concerns or questions about being a manager. Looking straight at you, he said, "How is being a manager going to be different? What will I do as a manager?" So, you being a leader and a manager, what will be your reply? How will you respond to it? Okay, so we need to understand the role of a manager for that. So, being a manager means that you have a great responsibility to consider and keep in mind the big picture, organizational goals, and how your work and that of your staff contribute a responsibility to think and about the development opportunities for any team members who may now report to you. So, how will you help to put them on a path towards growth and success? This is what we are going to study in this topic. So, students, to understand this concept of managerial roles approach, which was given by Henry Mintzberg, we need to understand before that what do we understand by management, its meaning, principles, and functions of the management, because this topic will be covering what managers do. And also along with this, we need to understand the different schools of thought which has been proposed in management by various thinkers and the academicians. So we can make it as a point that the session's objectives are to summarize the essential roles performed by managers which were given by the Mintzberg's managerial roles approach, and also to understand and classify the three levels of managers and to identify their primary responsibilities of each group. Dear students, as we have commonly observed, and you must have studied in your first module also, that organization is usually represented by a triangle. There is a logic behind it why it is denoted by a triangle. So this triangle represents an organization. This shows that number of employees, or you can say number of people working in the organization at bottom level are more as compared to the middle. As we move further at the top, the number of people are even less than the middle level. So we can understand it like this, that there are few people at the top management, then little more than the top management we have at the middle level, and then at the bottom level we have the largest number of the employees who are working for the organization. Okay, so this from this we can easily divide the organization into three levels based on the number of employees and the type of the work they are doing. That means the functions which they carry out. So we can divide the organization into three levels, that is a top management, middle management, and the first line managers, or you can say the operational level. At the same time, if we divide the organization into verticals, you will find that there are many verticals. As we can see, these verticals are called the areas of management. That means the domains in which they are working. So the domains, most common domains are marketing, finance, operations, human resources, administrations, and others. In others, you can see IT can be, information technology can be one domain. Nowadays, you will find that logistics, supply chain management, they are occurring as a different domain. Apart from that, you will find even the innovation and the creativity, or we call it as research and development, that is also coming up as a different domain. So in others, depending on the nature of the organization, we can have many other domains. So as you can see from the diagram given in the slide, that we have, if we divide the organization into levels, we can easily divide it into three levels, that is the top, middle and the bottom. And vertically, if we divide the organizations, we can find many areas of management, that is marketing, finance, operations, HR, administration and many more. So now based on these levels and the areas, we will study how the work of the manager differs, or the functions of the managers differs from level to level and from area to area. As we saw in the previous slide, that the pyramid of the organization has got three levels: top, middle and the operational or the bottom level. So same way, based on the number of levels, that is the three, we can have three types of managers. So depending on the level, the like the bottom level we have, or the operation level we have, where the managers falling in this category are called as first line managers. Then we have the second level, that is the middle level. So the managers in this particular level are called as middle managers. And then we have the third level, that is the topmost level, which is the, you can say, prime level of the organization, and they are called top managers. So now let's study and learn what are these types of managers and how they are different from each other. So as you can see, the first line managers, they are often called as supervisors. They stand at the base of the managerial hierarchy. They are the supervisors who are responsible for directing the day-to-day activities of operative employees. Here the operative employees, you can understand, are the at the bottom of the pyramid. Then we have the second level, which is called as the middle managers. So these you will find they're very most probably the middle managers are the heads of the various departments, and they organize human and the other resources to achieve the organizational goals. And as you can see, they are the at the different they are individuals at levels of management between the first line manager and the top management. So that's why it is called as the middle managers. Then we have the third one, that is called as top managers. This is the third category of the managers. These are the individuals who are responsible for making decisions about the direction of the organization and establishing policies that affect all organizational members. So they are called as the top managers, and they are the one who are setting the organizational goals, strategies to be implemented, and make the decisions. So as we have studied the different types of organizations like centralized and decentralized. So depending on the nature of the organization, these types of managers plays a very important role. For example, in a centralized organization, top managers will be taking all the decisions. They are the very important, you can say, category of the managers, while the first line managers may not be at all having any decision making powers. But when it comes to the decentralized organization, then you will find that all the three levels plays very important role, and they all have the unique and different responsibilities, and all are equally important. A question arises in our mind: is the manager's job universal? Let's understand this. Level in the organizations. Based on this, do managers manage differently based on where they are in the organization? Yes. In different levels, as we have seen, managers, or they all are managers, whether it is top level, middle level or the operational level. See, we need to again understand what is management. This you all have studied in your first module. Okay, so what is management? Management is to carry out the functions. Whatever you are doing is management. So what we are doing planning, we are doing organizing, we are doing staffing, controlling, directing, budgeting, reporting. Now, this is not limited to any particular level. All these functions, that planning, organizing, staffing, etc., you will find that they are carried out at each and every level. Maybe the domain is different, our scope is different. For example, top management is planning, they may plan out the framework of the policy, but the minute details may be filled by the middle management. And when it passes on to the different, you can say, divisions, at the operation level, they may again fill out certain guidelines which may be applicable to their own departments. So you need to understand that based on the level, every manager in their own levels do carry out the management. So this question, is the manager's job universal? I think so. I'm able to answer you. Yes, it is universal in nature, because the managers manage differently based on where they are in the organization. Another question arises now: profit versus not for profit. So whether a manager's job is there in profit organization as well as in the not for profit organization? Yes. Is managing a commercial enterprise different than managing in a non-commercial organization? No. Everywhere, whether it is a profit or not for profit, you will find the functions are same, the roles are same, work is same, only the organization goal is different. Okay, so whatever is the goal, to achieve that goal the managers are working. Okay, so taking the third context, the size of an organization. Does the size of an organization affect how managers functions in the organization? Yes, it do affects, because as the size of the organization grows, the span of control may be different. But you will find there also, whether it is a small organization or big organization, whether it is a public sector or a private sector, whether it is an educational institute, whether it is a hospital, whether it is a hostel, or whether you can say it is a bank, everywhere manager job is carried out. Every person who is in the supervisory position or in the leading position carries out the managers management, or you can say managers functions. So irrespective of the size of the organization, you will find that manager's job is prevalent, or it is existing in all types of organizations. Another context we can take: management concepts and the national border. Does the manager's job is affected by the national borders or by the management concepts? So let me just answer you this question. Is management the same in all economic, cultural, social and political systems? Yes. You will find, whether it is an economic scenario, whether it is a cultural scenario, whether it is a social scenario, whether it is a political scenario, everywhere you will find people are practicing the manager's job. So based on these four dimensions, that is, one is level of the organization, the other is based on the profit versus non-profit, then on the basis of the size, and then on the basis of across the borders. You will find globally, whether it is US, whether it is India, whether it is China, management is you can say it is found and it is being experienced and carried out everywhere, irrespective of the borders. Okay, so I think so. After studying this slide, there should be no doubt whether the manager's job is universal or not. Obviously, it is universal. The top managers. They are the highest level of management, comprising of the board of directors, chief executive and head of divisions. The basic function of the top management is to set overall organizational policies through long-term planning, referred to as strategic or conceptual planning. Top level managers, they require an extensive knowledge of management roles and skills. They have to be very aware of the external factors such as markets. The decisions are generally of a long term nature, and they are responsible for the strategic decisions. So, after having a clarity that the manager's job is universal in nature, let me make you understand the role of the managers in the three levels one by one. So, in this slide, I will take up the role of the top managers. So, what does that top managers do? How they are different from the middle and the operational managers? These top managers, they have a very important role. They are responsible for creating a context for change. So whenever any change has to be brought in the organization, until unless the top management has a philosophy and acceptance for change, nobody can bring change in the organization, because they are the people who are the policy makers. They are the one who decide the strategies for the organization. They are the one who builds, you can say, environment and the culture of the organization. So if any change has to be brought, it has to be promoted and it has to be initiated by the top management. So whenever any change is required, whether it is in the technology, whether it is in the, you can say, strategy, whether it is in the culture, until unless the top management favors it, it is very difficult to foster the change in the organization. Another important role of the top manager is developing commitment and ownership in employees. We all have studied that organizational citizenship behavior, it is very important element when we talk about whether the employee commitment exists in the organization or not. Okay, so they are the one who are responsible in fostering the OCB in the employees. Another important role of the top managers is to create a positive organization culture through language and action. So they are the one who will be promoting which language to be the organization's, you can say, official language. What actions are, you can say, invited, what actions are not invited. So they are the one who are going to make the disciplinary actions, the guidelines, whether late coming is allowed, whether work from home is allowed, whether you can have frequently leaves, and all these culture you will find. They are the one who are going to foster the culture. Another important role of the top managers is monitoring the business environment. As we all know that the business, it has got two types of environment. It, or you can say, it exists in the two types of environment. One is the internal environment and the other is the external environment. And both the environment, they affect the business strongly. So the environment has to be in favor of the business, otherwise the survival, the competition, the sustainability of the business will have a question mark. So this is the top management who has the responsibility to monitor the environment and to keep the environment friendly, whether it is internal, whether it is the employee behavior, whether it is the external, let's say, social environment, political environment, legal environment, technological environment, all these things. So it is the top management who will take care of all these things. So here is the role of the top managers. Let me summarize it in creating a context for change, in developing commitment and ownership in employees, creating a positive organizational culture, and monitoring the business environment. The middle line managers, they formulate medium-term plan covering a time span of about 1 year, referred to as tactical or aggregate planning. They are the middle level managers who have a specialized understanding of certain managerial tasks. They are responsible for and carrying out the decisions made by the top level management. They are also responsible for tactic decisions. The role of the middle managers. They plan and allocate resources to meet objectives. They coordinate and link groups, departments, and divisions, monitor and manage the performance of subunits and managers who report to them, implement changes or strategies generated by the top managers. The first line managers, they are at the lowest level of the management, comprising the management personnel, such as shop floor supervisors and foremen. They look after day-to-day operations and develop short-range plans, referred to as operational plans, for controlling day-to-day operations. This level of management ensures that the decisions and the plans taken up by the other two are carried out. The lower level managers' decisions are generally short-term ones. They are responsible for operational decisions. It represents functional managers such as production manager, finance manager, marketing manager, etc. These managers are responsible for implementing the policies of the top management pertaining to the areas of operation by identifying, arranging, and allocating resources needed. Responsibilities of the top managers, the middle managers. Now comes the responsibilities of the first line managers, or we can say the operational managers. These managers, they are also responsible for managing the performances of entry level employees. They are the one who are going to encourage, monitor and reward the performance of the workers in the operational level. They are also going to teach the entry level employees how to do their jobs. That means they are going to supervise, they are going to train them, they are going to act as a mentor, coach, guide. They also make detailed schedules and operating plans. So you will find that this line of managers, that is the first line of managers, also have a very important role, just like the top managers and the middle managers. They are the one who are ultimately contributing to the performance of the organization. They are the, you can say, the smallest unit of the managers, but they may be smallest, but they are not the least. So students, after understanding the various roles and responsibilities of the three types of the managers, that is the top level manager, middle level manager and the first line manager, now let us see in the organization hierarchy how they spend their time in carrying out the various managerial functions, that is planning, organizing, leading and controlling. As we can see in the diagram that top level managers, they are focusing more on the planning function and the organizing function, but less in the leading, and as compared to these three you will find even lesser in the controlling. So looking at the middle level managers, you will see as compared to the top level managers, they spend less time in planning, organizing, but more time in leading and less time in controlling. So as we can see, as we move up in the hierarchy, the time span is changing from level to level as well as from function to function. And last but not the least, let's have a look at the first level supervisors. They also spend the time in planning, in organizing, but more in leading as compared to the planning, organizing and the controlling. Now, after having an understanding of the different types of managers, their roles, responsibilities, and the functions carried out by them, now let's have a look how these three different types of managers, that is the top managers, middle managers, and the first level managers, spend their time in doing their various functions of the management. As you all are aware, the most important functions of management are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So based on these four functions, we will now discuss what is the distribution of time per activity per function which these managers in different levels carried out. So as you can see, the graph is given over here. The data is represented in the form of the pie chart and it is showing the percentage of time which they are spending in the four identified activities like planning, organizing, leading and controlling. So I'll start with the first level managers, as these are the operational level managers, or you can say the bottom level managers. And we have already seen that they carry out the planning, but the quantity of planning which they do is less than as compared to the middle managers and the top managers. So you can see first level managers are only spending 15% of their time, total time, in planning, While if we compare it with the middle level managers, they do a little more, they spend more time as compared to the first level. So the quantity has increased from 15 to 18%. So middle managers, they are spending approximately 18% of their time in planning. Now, if we compare it with the top managers, you will find it is more than what the middle managers are spending in planning. So here you can see in the pie, third pie, you will find that planning is 28%. That means for planning function or planning activity, top managers spend 28%, middle managers they spend 18%, and the first level managers spend 15%. So this shows that all the three levels of the or three types of managers they do the planning, but the only that the quantity of planning differs. Now, coming to the second activity, that is the organizing. So if we see again, if we compare it, the first level managers, they devote only 24% of their time in organizing, while the middle managers, they are spending 33% in organizing, and top managers, they are spending 36% in organizing. So for planning and organizing, it is going to increase from bottom to top. Now coming to the third activity, that is the leading. So we can see over here for leading, the first level managers they are spending 51%, while the middle level managers they are spending only 36%, and top managers they are spending only 22%. So for this particular function, you will find now the data is decreasing. The numbers are decreasing. For planning and organizing, it was increasing, but for leading, if you see, it is decreasing. Now coming to the fourth function, that is controlling. So here again you will find it is increasing. So controlling is done actually on first line managers, but still they have subgroups, smaller groups. So they also do the controlling within the group. Okay, but middle managers they devote more time on controlling as they have to control the first level managers. So you will find controlling first level managers they are spending only 10%, while middle level managers they are spending 13%, and top level managers they are spending only 14%. So the difference is very minute, negligible only, but difference is there. So you will find maximum time is being given by top managers because they have to control the middle also and the first level also, and middle managers they have to control the first level managers. So from this particular diagram we can easily figure out what is the difference of the time spent on each activity.